cool. So you got a huge list. You're not going to mention all your honorable mentions, are you? you got, we'll have to go for 2 hours on this episode.
No, I'm just going to read them at the end.
Okay.
To give them like a shout out, because there are so many good movies that were out on the 60s.
But you're not going to read all 60 of them, are you?
It takes like 3 minutes.
Well, here's what we'll do. I'll while you're reading the list, I'll have like fake end credits going up, like at the end of the episode, and then it'll just slowly fade out to black.
If I read you the list, you'll recognize a lot of the movies.
Oh, I'm sure.
You go, oh yeah, wow, that was a good one.
Yeah, I was surprised actually that I had seen a lot more than I thought in that decade. So this will be interesting because I don't think we'll have too many in common. We may have like one or two, but who knows? So
well, I think we should have at least one.
I think so too. But yeah, probably
Possibly two.
All right, well, let's see what we got. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, this one will not be one in common, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And so what I did, because there were so many good movies in the 60s, it was like almost a renaissance for the 60s with all the type of movies they had. But anyway,
yeah.
So I based it on movies that I've seen more than once.
Okay.
And I would see them again.
Makes sense.
All right, so number 5, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Okay, no, it's not on my list because I haven't seen it.
You never saw it?
Yeah.
Rain up and on my head.
I know that song, but yeah, and I know it's a classic and I should see it. But like westerns is one of my least favorite genres.
Oh yeah, but there's a lot of funny scenes in this movie.
Yeah, it's
not just a western, and it's not just based on 2 actual characters and a dubious ending, whether it really happened or not. But it's a real fun movie to watch.
Right, and Robert Redford and Paul Newman, 2 icons at the height of.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing.
Yeah, I mean Redford wasn't. I mean, he was good at that time, but I mean, his greatness came out later too as an actor and director,
right,
and
right.
producer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Redford to me like keeps getting better as time goes on in many ways.
Yeah.
But
like what's his name? I can't ever remember. It's like weird. I can't remember names.
You have to give me hints or a movie title or something.
No, if I think of one, I'll interrupt you.
All right. Fair enough. Well, okay, so my number 5 is Psycho.
Okay.
So that may be on your list, I take it, but classic Alfred Hitchcock, many would say his best, came out in 1960, I believe, starting off the decade. But
so you told me you had most of your movies later in the 60s.
Yeah, this is the one that's at the beginning of the 60s. All the rest are toward the end. But
no, Psycho is a great choice, and that's one of the movies on my shout out 66 movies or whatever.
Oh, okay. So it didn't.
And actually, that was
5.
the first one on the list.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously one of the best horror thrillers of all time. It kind of changed that genre, I think, in many ways at that time. And of course, the famous shower scene, classic that was... Exactly. And Norman Bates, played by Anthony Perkins,
yes.
One of the creepiest characters ever. And yeah, I mean, classic Hitchcock. So I'm surprised it's actually not on your list. So it's just in your shout outs.
Yeah, it was on my shout outs.
All right. Well, this is going to be very interesting. So what's your number four?
My number four is The Great Escape.
Ah, also not on mine.
Yes, a
And
great uh, uh, war movie. Obviously, it was about an escape from a German camp. And
yeah,
Steve McQueen
right.
was like one of the main characters
Hmm.
that was like really involved with the story, and he had so many great scenes in the movie. Uh, and there was a lot of actors in that movie. James Gardner was in the movie.
Oh, he's great.
It's
Yeah.
like, let me just check my list. Richard Attenborough from the British side,
Okay.
Charles Bronson, James Coburn.
Right.
So it was like a really all-star cast,
Yep.
and it was like a great movie. I must have seen that movie like 7, 8 times.
Wow. Well, I definitely need to add that to my list to watch then,
Yes.
for sure.
Well, you'll be adding a lot of them when you do this.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of them.
Maybe. Well, so far I haven't seen two on your list. So, so my number four probably is not on your list, but you may have seen this. Take the Money and Run.
No, it's not on my list. I don't think it's on the shout out either. But
Okay.
that was like really, really great movie.
Yeah, it's Woody Allen's, I believe, directorial debut in 1969, and so yeah, there's actually several comedies on my list, but this is one that I think right off the bat you could tell Woody Allen was hilarious, and it's before he got to in his 70s period doing more like romantic comedies. This is more not slapstick, but it has a lot of physical comedy in it, like when he's playing a cello in a marching band, which is just ridiculous, and when he is breaking out of prison with a gun that's made out of a bar of soap, and then it starts raining and it starts foaming up. It's just classic. But the movie is also, I think, ahead of its time in that it was kind of like a pseudo documentary style movie about this guy who's in and out of prison. Um, so yeah, it's great.
Uh,
And as you know, I'm a big Woody Allen fan in general. So
Yes, I know.
you're not as much, I know, but yeah.
Which is
So
one of the reasons why I didn't put it down, because I figured you would have put it down.
exactly. There you go. Okay, so what's your number three?
This is going to be an interesting top five.
Yeah, we may have none in common. We'll see.
No, I think we will.
All right,
What are we up to?
three.
Okay, three. Now, this movie, I'm pretty sure you got on your list. The
Okay.
Producers.
Yes, it is on my list. Absolutely. The first Mel Brooks movie, and I think his best.
Right, I
Uh,
agree. Well, not
so good.
necessarily. Uh, I think Young Frankenstein is his best.
Yeah, I knew you would say that. We're giving away our Mel Brooks top five for down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, Producers is awesome, man. I mean,
But it is. I would go between, if they were 1 and 2, I would constantly be changing the ranking on it,
for sure.
depending on the day and how I felt.
Yeah, Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder as Max Bialystock and Leo Bloom. Just one of the best comedy on-screen duos ever, and just the whole plot, the concept is ridiculous of making the worst play of all time on purpose so that they can raise a bunch of money and keep it. And the play being Springtime for Hitler. It was just so great, man.
No, I'm not going to sing it. The
Yeah.
first one was bad enough.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of a musical in the fact that it does have that and a couple other tunes in the movie. So,
Yeah.
but
And,
yeah.
and the acting was great in it too.
Oh yeah, just the scene where Gene Wilder freaks out about his blue blanket
Yeah,
is
right.
one of the best
I
ever.
know. I know. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the one that they made, what, I guess in the, what was it, the 80s? Or
Oh,
was
the
it,
remake. No, I think it
yeah,
was more recent than that with what's his name? Ferris Bueller.
yeah,
I can't think of the actor's name,
yeah,
but
yeah. I mean,
I'm getting like you now.
it wasn't as good.
No, for sure. I mean, that
Yeah,
was the performances. Yeah, Zero Mostel just being way over the top. Even like lines like "I got a cardboard belt." So ridiculous, man. And the guy who plays the Nazi was so good too. The screenwriter, so great. So all right, cool.
and the guy that played Hitler was great too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What was that actor's name? He was in a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, he was
But
in a mad, mad, mad world.
right. Oh man, he was so great with the being like such like a hippie in the movie and
Yeah,
oh man.
a hippie Hitler. That was
Yeah. So awesome. All right, so that was your three. So my three, this is gonna piss you off. This was on my list last week, 2001, which I know obviously you did not put on your list for the same reason you didn't put it on last week, I'm sure.
exactly. Yes.
That it was too weird and
Well, it wasn't too
misunderstood.
weird. It was just, it was slow. It was
Hmm.
too, you had to think about it too much. And the
Yeah,
more you thought about it, the more complicated it was.
that's true, and that's the reason why I like it so much. I've noticed like the first time I saw it, I thought it was going to be one of those movies that I'm like, okay, I don't need to see this again. But then for some reason, I revisited years later because I just couldn't stop thinking about it for some reason, and then I enjoyed it more. And I've only seen it a handful of times, but every time I see it, I find more reasons to enjoy it, and I think it still makes me confused in a lot of ways, especially the ending. But but I think it's ahead of its time, obviously, for many reasons. The Hal sequence is amazing, where he's reading their lips and you know the camera work going back and forth, showing that he's watching them. It's so creepy. So yeah, that's why it's on my number three. So what is your number two?
My number two is The Lion in Winter.
Okay, I did not expect that one.
That's one of my all-time favorites. I've seen that movie so many times.
Okay. I'm not even sure I know who's in this movie or what it's about.
It's towards the end of Henry II's reign of
Okay.
England,
Mm-hmm.
and his wife, uh, Catherine of Aragon.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, it's it's like I said, the end of his reign, and he has everybody over uh, at one of his obscure castles someplace uh, for the Christmas holidays.
Okay.
So his three sons are there:
Mm-hmm.
Richard, the Lionheart, John,
Mm-hmm.
and the other son escapes me.
Okay.
Uh, Only because he wasn't involved in the secession and stuff like that. But uh,
Who plays Henry II?
yeah, Peter O'Toole.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the banter between the whole family, back and forth,
Uh-huh.
uh, and them just and the backstabbing, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody trying to get the best on everybody, and just the dialogue alone is worth watching the movie.
Okay.
It's really good.
Speaking of Peter O'Toole, one that I didn't have as many shout outs as you're going to have, but one honorable mention that did not make my list, but almost did, is Lawrence of Arabia.
Yes,
Which
that's on the shout out.
That's an epic movie.
Yeah,
and
that's an epic movie.
Yeah.
But that was like a long, drawn out movie too.
It was
Especially
very
like
long.
when they're in the desert.
Right. But the cinematography in the desert is so good, though, that you kind of can't take your eyes off it. And of course, the score was amazing in that movie, too. But okay, so my number 2 is The Graduate.
That's my number 1.
Oh, all right. We got 2 in common, as usual. That's exciting. Cool. Yeah, Mike Nichols directed it. Dustin Hoffman, probably his best movie, I would say. And he's got a lot of good ones. But this movie is one that current day directors like Wes Anderson has cited as like he stole the style of this movie, which is unlike any other. You can't just call it a comedy because there's so much more to it, but it is hilarious.
Yeah, it is. And the thing too is that this movie is considered, like, in the movie business, it was a sleeper.
Right.
And in the old days, what it was like when a movie first came out into the movie theater, like the first week, the motion picture company got most of the money. It was like an 80% to 20% cut.
Yeah.
And then it goes down. Then the next week it would be 70-30. Then it would be 60-50. Then it'd be 50-50. And then it would go the other way. And the movie theaters would now start to be making the other movie.
Right.
And what happened with this movie is it ran for like 46 weeks in the movie theater.
Wow.
So the movie theaters just like cleaned up on it.
Yeah.
And I don't think the cut, because they didn't think this was a great movie when it came out, that I don't even think it was an 80-20 cut in the beginning. It was probably like more like a 60-40. So
right.
after the 4th week, the movie theaters started cleaning up on this thing.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, and you got to mention the soundtrack by Simon and Garfunkel was awesome. I mean, songs like some of the best in their catalog, Mrs. Robinson and
classics.
Sounds of Silence and Scarborough Fair. And then the dialogue is just hilarious. Like in the beginning, when all these guys are coming up to him at the dinner party and the guy goes, plastics. Yeah. Yeah. And then I love later in the movie when he decides to go and marry Elaine and he's telling his parents about it. And then the parents realize like she doesn't even know. And his dad says, I think this plan seems a little half-baked. And then Benjamin goes, oh no, it's baked. It's fully baked. Or whatever he said. It's so great, man. And then just how awkward he is with Mrs. Robinson and all that. Anne Bancroft.
And Dustin Hoffman's little cameo.
Oh, you mean Dreyfus?
Dreyfus.
Dreyfus, where his one line is like, should I call the cops? I'll call the cops. Yeah. And of course, the big ending, Elaine! Such a weird ending to a movie. Another one that kind of makes you think, not as much as 2001, but it leaves it open-ended, on the bus ride. And their faces just look like, okay, now what? Just an awesome movie. So that's cool. Okay, so obviously that's going to be our number 1. Well, so my number 1 was The Producers from earlier. Right. So that means The Producers will have to be our number 2 because You had it at 3, and I had it at 1. And then the rest is just going to be going down our list. So The Lion in Winter was your number 2. So that'll be number 3. And then, so my 3 is 2001 and makes another one of our lists. Yeah.
But we had it on another list.
Hey, it's getting around. I'm gonna put it for whatever the next category is. I don't care what it is. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so now we're down to our number 4s, which we'll have to. I think it'll be fair to use yours instead of mine, because you had The Great Escape and I had Take the Money and Run. So The Great Escape at number 5. I think that's not bad. I mean, probably no one else would have a list quite like this, but
Well, I'm sure. Well, I think some of the movies would have been on it.
yeah,
But like I said, there was so many great. Clint Eastwood.
yeah, there was some great Clint Eastwood.
No, I mean that was a name I couldn't remember in the beginning.
Oh,
another actor who just kept improving and also became a director and a producer.
absolutely, yeah, that is very true. Okay, cool. And Matthew Broderick, the one that I couldn't remember.
Yes.
Ferris Bueller. So we just need a few minutes of. All right, so let's read the list. Here we go. They combined the list, the best movies of the 1960s. Number 5, The Great Escape. At number 4, 2001, A Space Odyssey. At number 3, The Lion in Winter. At number 2, The Producers. And at number 1, The Graduate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. I like it. So now you've got like a million honorable mentions.
No, I got like about 60 of them.
Okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom while you read this list.
No, you should hear these. Okay.
All right. Let's hear it.
Right. So Psycho was on your list.
Mm-hmm.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Ah, yeah.
The Manchurian Candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Zhivago. Another.
I've actually seen that in school. I had to watch that.
Yeah, but it's another real long movie.
Yep.
In the Heat of the Night.
Ah, that's a great movie. I've seen that. Yes.
Yeah. To Sir with Love.
Okay.
Lilies of the Field.
Mm-hmm.
A Raisin in the Sun. The Sand Pebbles. Lolita.
Oh, Lolita I've seen. Okay.
Birdman of Alcatraz.
Okay.
All right. Elmer Gantry. Days of Wine and Roses. My Fair Lady. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Wait Until Dark. Another real horror movie, but it wasn't really a horror movie.
Okay.
Brigadoon.
Mm-hmm.
For a Few Dollars More. A Fistful of Dollars. The Wild Bunch. I would almost put that on there. That's another one of my all-time favorites.
Okay.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's an honorable mention for me too.
Dr. Strangelove.
I'm surprised you didn't put that on your list actually, because I know you love that one.
Yeah. Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Another scary movie that came out. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Another scary movie.
Mm-hmm.
Goldfinger. Dr. No.
Mm-hmm. I knew. I was surprised you didn't put some James Bond actually.
I would have if I had a top 20. Splendor in the Grass.
Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
In Cold Blood.
Mm.
The Sound of Music.
Yeah. That's actually, I don't really like musicals in general, but that's a good one.
I know. 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence of Arabia, which we said. Cape Fear.
The original,
which I think spawned 3 remakes.
Right.
That was a remake in the 60s to begin with. West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
Inherit the Wind.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
yeah, that's very
courtroom
good.
movie. Yeah.
Same actor, Judgment at Nuremberg.
Ah, yeah.
Spencer Tracy.
Uh-huh.
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Yeah.
Failsafe.
Okay.
Another, The Dirty Dozen. 7 Days in May. Rosemary's Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I need
Beckett.
I need to add almost all of these to my watch list. You're still going, right?
Yeah, Beckett, which was another Henry II Peter O'Toole movie.
Okay.
Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Uh,
Anne of a Thousand Days. The Hustler,
mm,
Paul Newman movie
yeah.
with Gleason.
Okay.
Cool Hand Luke.
That's a good one.
Midnight Cowboy.
Uh-huh.
The Magnificent Seven.
Mm-hmm.
Charade.
Okay.
Ocean's 11.
Mm.
Funny Girl. Cartoon. And the list goes on and on.
Oh, you got to keep going. I'll put the credits and fade it to black, like I said earlier. But that's great, though. I mean, there were so many good movies. I think our list is a pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, any one of
list.
those movies, could have been in the top 5.
Okay. Well, I have an idea for next week since it's going to be Father's Day. I thought it might be cool, and you won't have nearly as many to choose from probably, but top 5 father and son movies, which the plot doesn't have to like go around a relationship, but it would have to have at least 2 of the main characters in the movie that are a father and son. So it could be any kind of movie, but it could be interesting.
I know, right now, but I don't think I can think of one.
You could do it. I don't. It would just take some thought.
Well, now that's going to be a lot more research than the top 60s. The top
That's
60s,
true.
the hard part was like narrowing it down to 5.
I know. Yeah. No, for this one, it may be helpful to like Google other lists that that if someone else has thought of this already, kind of thing, to at least help jog your memory of what could work for that. Because I've already thought of some that some people may not even think of, but
Oh, I thought of one.
okay. See, it'll be a fun one. I'm telling you, this will be cool. And since we are the father and son duo of Siskel and Ebert, we got to represent father and son movies, man. Actually, here's one that probably won't make my list, but was on our top 5 baseball movies, Field of Dreams, because it's later in the movie, but you know that could count. So,
well, I'm not going to tell you the one I thought of. So,
okay, cool. Well, that'll be it. Tune in next week, everybody, and like and subscribe and all that stuff if you're new to the channel. I always forget to say that at the end, but got to promote it. So, all right. Well, hey, speaking of Father's Day, be on the lookout. You got something coming in the mail in the next few days. So
okay.
I think you'll dig it.
All right. Well, thank you in advance.
All right. Love you.
Love you. Are you okay? So now we're talking?
Yeah. Yeah, now we're talking.
All right, look,
Here,
you want me to see if I can?